24. Gryph's health was playing a game called How Quickly Can I Plummet? And it was putting up an MVP effort. He guessed he'd been in the water for a minute when a drowning prompt popped up into the corner of his vision. Again? Damn it! Flashes of light sparked in his vision, ticking away the last moments of his life. The torrent of water shot Gryph from the cave opening like a cannonball, a coughing, sputtering, near-dead cannonball. Gryph inhaled the ragged breath that burned his starved lungs as it nourished him. It was then he realized he was falling. He'd emerged into a large cavern dominated by a lake. The water from the river erupted into the cavern nearly 100 feet in the air. Gryph shot like a cork exploding from a shaken bottle of champagne, tumbling head over feet as he plummeted towards the lake. Gryph knew that pain was coming, but as he hit the surface of the water with an epic, skin-smacking belly flop, he suspected he might also die. The water felt like concrete, and the small breaths he'd pulled into his lungs exploded on impact. Gryph lost consciousness. Deep in the lake, something stirred. Powerful thoughts reached outward as a primordial body awoke from a death-like slumber. Something was in its cave, something that held a powerful potential, something that would serve it. When Gryph came to, he was several feet below the water and sinking. His sliver of health flashed as it dipped to 10%. His health, like his body, was sinking. He pushed through the agony and swam towards the dim light of the surface. His lungs burned like molten iron as he put the last of his life into a few more frantic kicks. His mind retreated to a place of comfort, a place from his past. Bryn walked in the place she once loved most, the house at Bow Lake. The house that burned, the house that had taken their mother. Bryn looked back at Gryph and smiled. It was all wrong. It was adult Bryn who looked back at Gryph, yet he could see the 15-year-old girl whose life would soon shatter looking back at him. He had failed her then. He wouldn't fail her now. Gryph broke the surface, and his lungs burned as he inhaled. He spent a few moments recovering when a sharp pain reminded him the spear was still lodged in his leg. The journey down the river had broken the haft in two, causing the flow of blood to increase. He tried to pull the spear shaft from his leg, but couldn't get a solid grip on the weapon. Instead, he fumbled through his pack, grabbing his last health potion. His hand shook with pain as he struggled to keep the vial above water. He popped the cork and downed the liquid in one large gulp. Warmth and ease spread through his body, and his health bar shot up to nearly 60%. The potency of the healing potions continued to amaze him. They didn't just restore health, they knit bones and closed wounds. It was one of the many things in this world he couldn't wrap his head around. He made himself a promise. If he lived through this hellhole of a dungeon, he would learn how to make them. Lots of them. He caught his breath and surveyed his surroundings. The lake was large, half a mile across at its widest. It was surrounded on 3 sides by the high walls of the cavern, but the 4th side had a beach and, better yet, a solid metal door. There was a way out. Then he felt a tingle at the back of his mind, and his gaze turned to his left like iron to a magnet. 200 yards off was an island of rock and sand. A large metal and wood chest sat at the center of the island. A swell of desire rose in his mind. He wanted the chest, wanted it more than he'd ever wanted anything. Somewhere in the recesses of his mind, he knew it was foolish. He needed to get out of the barrow, not detour for a few trinkets. Gryph concentrated and swam towards the beach. He focused his mind, ignoring the lure of the chest clawing at his brain. After a few minutes of swimming, he was stunned to realize that he had drifted and was now swimming for the lake. I may as well go check it out now, Gryph thought. I'm so close. He pulled himself up onto the island. It was 20 feet to a side. His mind fogged, and the pain in his leg faded to a distant throb. The chest was close, and he knew, just knew, it contained amazing treasures meant just for him. A shooting pain zipped through the haze as the spear grazed upon the stone of the island. He grimaced and fell to his knees. Looking down, he saw the barbed spearhead pushed all the way through the muscle of his calf. Only a few inches of shaft protruded from the other side, broken off in a jagged, splintering mess. Gryph grabbed the shaft below the tip and inhaled deeply. On the exhale, he yanked the spearhead free, drawing a gout of fresh blood. Gryph screamed and lost consciousness. Some time later, he awoke, surprised the wound in his leg had healed. Residual effects of the healing potion, perhaps? He stood, and the pain in his leg had reduced to a deep throb. His mind was foggy, reminiscent of a post-bender hangover, but Gryph forgot his pain as he saw the wondrous chest. He felt a longing like nothing he'd ever experienced. A child's obsession for a favorite toy, or the alcoholic's need for a drink, or the returning soldier's desire for his lover's touch. It was all these things and more. He walked to the chest, his fingers trembling in anticipation. Energy flowed from the chest, and as he got closer, he saw it was as much a work of art as a container. Aged wood that told a story with carved bas-relief images, bolstered by bands of a green metal. A mighty warrior, shining spear held aloft, stood by the open chest. Rays of radiant gold poured from the chest, bathing the warrior in warmth and glory. His expression was the fulfillment of every promise Gryph now felt in his mind. Whatever was in this chest would change his life forever. The rest of the story told of the great adventures, kingdoms united, demonic beasts slain, evil thrown from the realms. Gryph's mind rushed to Bryn. With this, I can save her. The echoes of his thoughts returning to him bolstered his surety. He had never been more confident of anything in his life. With trembling hands, he eased the chest open. A low click announced the mechanism had released, and the lid opened on well-oiled hinges. Gryph looked down into the chest with awe. He was so distracted by the wealth in the chest, he didn't notice the bubbles of rancid air break the surface a dozen yards behind him. For the chest contained wonders unlike any Gryph had seen since entering the realms. His identify gift surged to life as he pulled each item from the chest. You have found Elven Bracers of the Return, Light Armor, Air Magic, Item Class, Base, Item Category, Active, AC Bonus, +8, +2 Base Item Bonus. Active Powers, Power 1, magnetic control of thrown weapons. Mana limit, not applicable. Cooldown, 5 seconds. Yellow Elementum scrolling infuses these extraordinary quality leather bracers. Besides providing great armor bonuses, the wearer can use the bracers to summon thrown weapons back to them, allowing them to attack again. There is no cooldown of this power. You have found Banded Leather Breastplate of the Moon, Light Armor, Life Magic. Item Class, Major. Item Category, Passive, Active. AC Bonus, plus 18, plus 5 Major Item Bonus. Passive Powers. Power 1. Health Regen, plus 25%. Power 2. Resist Death Magic, plus 25%. Active Powers. Power 3. Moon Flare. A surge of moonlight, life energy, explodes from the chest plate, causing temporary blindness and 5 points of damage per point of mana spent to all creatures of the lower magics, and healing 5 points of damage per point of mana spent to self and all allies within 50 feet. Mana limit, 20%. Cooldown, 6 hours. This extraordinary quality leather jerkin is covered in layered bands of green elementum and white mithril. You have found Elven Boots of Deafness, Light Armor, Air Magic. Item Class, Base. Item Category, Passive, Active. AC Bonus, plus 10, plus 2 Base Item Bonus. Passive Powers. Power 1, plus 2 Dexterity. Power 2, minus 10% Stamina cost for Stealth. Active Powers. Power 3. Speed doubled for 15 seconds per mana point spent. Mana limit, 10%. Cooldown, 1 hour. These extraordinary leather boots are worn by elven warriors. Crafted from the hide of a strike lizard, the boots offer excellent protection and speed-based abilities derived from beasts. You have found Elven War Pants, Light Armor. Item Class, Non-Magical. Item Category, Not Applicable. AC Bonus, plus 12. A well-made pair of leather pants enhanced with thick hide pads that provides excellent protection. You have found Cowl of Elven Kind, Light Armor, Life Magic. Item Class, Base. Item Category, Passive. AC Bonus, plus 6, plus 2 Base Item Bonus. Passive Powers. Power 1. Plus 5 levels to Perception and Analyze while worn. Mana limit, not applicable. Cooldown, not applicable. This soft leather cowl is made from the hide of a scout fox. It provides excellent protection and perception abilities derived from the animal. It is the traditional garb of Wood Elf Scouts. You have found Bane of the Dark, Elvish War Spear, Staves, Spears, Life Magic. Item Class, Base. Item Category, Passive, Active. Base Damage, plus 11, plus 2 Base Item Bonus. Passive Powers. Power 1. Double damage to ethereal, chthonic, death, or chaos creatures. The so-called lower magics. Active Powers. Power 2. Banish, undead or summoned. Upon strike, a 2% per mana point spent chance to sever the undead/summoned being's connection to their natural realm, thus killing it. Capped at 80%. Mana limit, 5%. Cooldown, 5 minutes. This Elvish War Spear is made from a shaft of white alder wood, tipped with mithril and sealed with starflower sap, a life resin. The life energy in the weapon dispels undead. You have found Empyrean Spider Silk Rope, 30 feet. Item Class, Base. Item category: Passive. Passive powers. Power 1. Compel. Beings tied with this rope are compelled to answer all questions. Chance to resist is equal to twice the being's wisdom. Power 2. Animate rope spells last twice as long. Mana limit, not applicable. Cooldown, not applicable. Woven from the silk of an Empyrean spider, this rope is nearly unbreakable, and, like the Empyrean spiders themselves, can compel truthful answers from other beings. The find was incredible and perfectly tailored to him. Part of his mind found this odd, but his excitement drove away all doubts. The chest also contained a sack of 135 gold coins, 235 silver coins, 432 bronze coins, 5 more health, stamina, and mana potions, and a small sack of glowing spell stones. He focused on the individual stones, receiving a slew of prompts. You have found a spell stone for the air magic spell Halo of Air. You have found a spellstone for the life magic spell Minor Healing. You have found a spellstone for the life magic spell Detoxification. He tucked the bag of spellstones into his inventory and pulled on the pieces of armor. He felt pulses of energy surge through his body as the various passive powers of the items enhanced him. He felt a boost of vitality as the breastplate kicked his health regeneration into a higher gear. He felt more agile and energetic as he pulled on the boots. He could sense the magnetic forces now at his command as he slipped the bracers onto his forearms. Finally, the fog in his mind cleared as the perception bonus from the cowl became active. He hung the rope at his belt and hefted his upgraded weapon. Life was good. A second before pain erupted in his leg, his upgraded perception alerted him to a slithering noise behind him. He turned in panic, but even his newly enhanced dexterity was not enough to evade the silent attack. A thick green tentacle wrapped around his left ankle and needle-like spines punctured his skin. Agony tore into his leg as he was dragged into the water.